Yeah, what's up, man? This is COPE2. This is my second trip to Moscow, Russia. I'm working here on my solo art exhibition. Thanks to Street Art Lab and Chess for making it happen. From a young kid, I always loved the Russian culture. The Russian people represent very serious and very strong people. And that's how I am. You know, I'm very serious, very strong. You know, I was really surprised how all the love and respect I got the first time. It's great to have my first solo show here in Moscow and come here for the second time.
Yeah, it was good. This is COPE2, New York City legend, baby. Just arrived in Moscow for my second time.
I was a young kid, so I started in like 1978, 79. You know, when I used to take the subway cars in New York City, there was graffiti all over. So I used to tell my mother, what is this, you know, all these colorful names? And my mother said, it's graffiti. It's illegal, you cannot do it. But I wanted to do it, I wanted to learn. When I met all the guys on my block, where I live, they already was doing graffiti, so to them it was graffiti. But they weren't really graffiti writers, you know? They were just writers, they would just tag their name. From there it went more bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it was all over the subway cars, and they called it graffiti writing. And that's how I learned, just watching graffiti writing. Cope, I get from my friend. He used to write a cope with a K. K-O-P-E, cope. And he told me, you should write cope with a C. C-O-P-E. I put a number because in the subway line, a lot of graffiti writers had numbers. You know, like Phase 2, you know, Band 2, 2 Fame, Peanut 2. He was one of my favorite writers, Peanut 2. And I say, man, I like the 2. So I write Cope 2. But I'm the original Cope, only one Cope around the world for 35 years.
У нас легенда мирового граффити COPE2 или Фернандо Карло.
Cope means when you try to deal with themes. Like you look up cope in the dictionary. Cope means when you have to cope with life, cope with problems, you know, so that's what cope means.
I wanted to know how fast you could throw this up on a wall. That's COPE2 in Russian.
Oh, wow.
So you could do this as fast as you write COPE2?
No, I don't think so. I always did graffiti art for many years, 35 years, you know, and I'm still doing it. But I started in the street and the subway cars and then in the street again. But when you get older and you are 40, maybe 35, you have children, you cannot do illegal train no more, you cannot do illegal graffiti anymore. So I say, you know what, I'm gonna take my art and put in gallery. Because many people tell me before me, like, you know, Futura, 2000, Scene, he do galleries, and Days and Crash. A lot of graffiti writers before me, they already do galleries because you can make good money with paintings. You can work in a job all week and make, let's say, $500, and you can work for yourself. You can make a studio, you can paint and work whenever you want, and you can become your own boss. When I did graffiti for many years, I never thought of doing canvas, you know. I said I would do burners on walls, but a lot of my friends would say you should do canvas like Scene and Futura and Days and Blade. So I watched for many years, you know, how they do it. And then one time in 2000, they had a big graffiti auction, in the Christie's auction, in the Guernsey's Christie's auction, and they contacted me to make some canvas. So I made 3 different canvas, and I put it in the auction, and they sell each for a couple of $1,000s. So I said, wow, that was cool, you know? Because at this time I was working in a regular job, and I get sick of working. So when I put the canvas in the auction, and it sold for some thousands of dollars, I said, wow, I think I'm gonna do more. And that's when I start to make more canvas, and I started to do little shows in graffiti shops in California, in New York, in Berlin, in Paris. I started to make little graffiti shows. I did one in Cosmopolite in Paris in 2003. And I started to sell my paintings because people know I'm COPE2 from New York. Like, this is COPE2, he's done this for many years. It's like a New York legend, it's history. So people like the canvas and they would buy it. Now it's 2016 and I've been doing really good. And the last 10 years, I've been doing shows all around the world. And it's crazy sometimes, you know. I think it's a blessing from God, and I believe this, you know, because I could have been in jail, I could have been dead for other crazy stuff in New York. It's called, like they say, living your dream. You know, my dream was always to live off my artwork because I used to watch and see a lot of people do it. Even if, let's say, I don't sell painting in Moscow, it's okay because life is not about money all the time. It's good for the people in Moscow to see the work. I like when people come and they look at my paintings. It's like a gift, you know, to show the people my work. I want to share my life and my work with the Russian people in Moscow, you know, and I'm happy for this. It's a good feeling. The same thing in Germany, in Paris, in New York, in Los Angeles, when I do art shows and the people come and they see my work, maybe sometimes old people, like 70 years old, 80 years old, they come and they see the painting and they love it. And it's cool if they buy it, and if they don't buy it, it's fine. I'm happy that they like my artwork. Now with street art and graffiti, it gets bigger and bigger now. All around the world, a lot of galleries now are selling graffiti and street art. It's maybe thousands, maybe millions of graffiti writers around the world. So I think if you are a graffiti writer, maybe a legend from some country, from New York, Moscow, or maybe Paris. If you are a legend graffiti writer from this city and country, maybe it's good for you and you can sell paintings because it's good for your story. When collectors say, okay, who is this graffiti writer? They like the story because they want a piece of my history and they want a piece of history from New York. Some writers, they change. You know, like Banksy. Banksy was graffiti writer first. He changed and now he's like the biggest street artist in the world. When I meet Banksy in 2005 in London, we have some beer and some cigars and we talk. And he tell me, you know, COPE2, you inspiration to me. So I say, wow. I watch my idol, Jean-Michel Basquiat. He was a very authentic artist, very different from everyone. And I watch him and he draw and then he put paint. So I say, I'm gonna do my cope and I'm gonna throw paint. And it works. And I sell a lot of paintings now and all over the world. It's hard to give a message to all the young graffiti writers because I can tell them something, but they're gonna do what they want. Because sometimes I can tell my children, don't do this, don't do that, and they still do it. The main thing in graffiti world, you must respect. Always respect the other graffiti writer. Never disrespect. Even if he's better than you, so what? You just keep on painting and worry about yourself. You know, just be cool with other graffiti writers, not too many. When you become big in graffiti, you get a lot of haters. If you want to be a hardcore graffiti writer, hey, do what you gotta do, you know, just do your thing and worry about yourself. Everybody is different in graffiti culture. So my message is, do what you want, it's fine, but respect. Always respect every graffiti writer. If they don't like you, it's fine. They don't have to like you, you know? If you don't like this graffiti writer, it's your business, but my thing always is respect.